Greetings, Lucky Legends. Welcome to the dojo. My name is Lucky. This is Lucky Lad TV. I'm your host of this video, and it's time for our week 2 dose de. Whatever. Week 2 PMC Wi-Fi battle against Shinryu Pikachus, coached by Johan. Now, this ought to be a very interesting match because we're both Zard trainers. He has Charizard X, I have Charizard Y. I'm not bringing Charizard Y because it doesn't match up well against his team. He's probably going to bring Charizard X because it kind of tears through my entire team at +1. Except for Klefki. It kills Klefki, but I can paralyze it. That's the thing. If he brings sub DD Zard X, we're done. Goodbye. There's nothing we can do. Assuming he's able to, successfully get off the sub. But we're bringing something a little bit interesting. So, I'm going to read off his team to you. He has Mega Charizard X, Donphan, Azumarill, Jolteon, Seismitoad, Goodra, Sceptile, Aerodactyl, Lucario, Skuntank, and Malamar. So, a lot of threats. A lot of really strong offensive threats. His Jolteon got 5 kills week 1. His Mega Charizard X, as I said, can easily just tear through any team. If it gets enough boosts, it hits so hard. As far as specially offensive threats, he really only has 2. Jolteon and Goodra. That's really it, if we're being realistic. Everything else is either a physically offensive threat. Well, Lucario as well. Setup Lucario could be very dangerous. But like I said, everything else is pretty much going to be support, utility, or, defensive. So I really wanted something that could just take on Zard X. I wanted something that I could switch into Charizard X, and then the rest of my team, I don't care. So that's actually what I did. I grabbed Nessie, my low tick, and I gave it this spread. 252 EVs in defense, bold nature with 212 EVs in HP. We do not get 2-hit KO'd by Dragon Claw, and we 2-hit KO him back with Dragon Pulse. The reason we have Refresh and Recover rather than Rest is because I don't want to deal with Sleep Talk rolls. I really don't. Refresh gets rid of Status, because if he's running Flare Blitz or Fire Punch or something like that, and he gets Fire Punch off on us, and he burns us, that'll seriously wear us down so that we won't be able to sponge physical attacks as easily. However, we do have Marvel Scale, so it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's good in the sense that it activates our Marvel Scale, so our defense goes up by 1.5. However, we're getting worn down. We only have leftovers. If we get Toxic, it's an even bigger issue. So I'm really, really, really interested in having Refresh over Rest. Granted, Rest does activate Marvel Scale. However, I don't want to deal with Sleep Talk rolls. Scald is just stab that can burn stuff. That's it. I was originally considering running Surf because it does a little more damage. But ultimately, I deemed it unnecessary. I figured Scald was better. Dragon Pulse with 36 EVs in special attack is a guaranteed 2-hit KO against Mega Charizard X with 4 EVs in Spadef. That's kind of, the idea with that spread. We beat Zard X 1v1. Now, the 2 Pokemon that really cause Nessie problems are Jolteon, Goodra, because if he brings Assault Vest Goodra, Dragon Pulse does absolutely no damage. So Jolteon, Goodra, and Sceptile. Those are the big 3 that can really cause some issue. And that's actually where Shallow Grave comes in. Earthquake hits the Jolteon and the Goodra. I know it's not super effective on Goodra, but Goodra's physical defense really isn't that great. And X-Scissor hits the Sceptile. The fastest thing on Johan's team is Jolteon with 130 base speed. That hits 200 with a positive speed nature. Shallow Grave outspeeds that with the Choice Scarf. 134 times 1.5 is 201. Fantastic. We outspeed everything on his team. Even a +1 Mega Charizard X. We don't outspeed that. We outspeed everything on his team unboosted. Which means we can run an Adamant Nature, which means our damage output is even higher. I brought Rapid Spin just in case he gets up some hazards, like Toxic Spikes or Stealth Rock. I don't really want to deal with those. They would be annoying for wearing down my team. So I brought Rapid Spin just in case. It's like if, let's say Shallow Grave's about to die, I go for Rapid Spin if I can't kill the other Pokemon. But as far as actually getting up hazards are concerned, we have Green Lantern. Now, allow me to explain this spread. We have 168 speed, 140 EVs, Timid Nature. That is to ensure that we outspeed the fastest thing on his team that we can outspeed, which is the Mega Charizard X. His team has a really big speed jump from Mega Charizard X at 100 to Sceptile at 120. And there's an even bigger gap in between those, I believe, with, Lucario is 90 and Mega Charizard X is 100, so not a bigger gap. But a 20 gap is big, and Green Lantern fits in there really nicely. Now, I wanted to run not Timid, but as I'll show you guys right here, without that Timid Nature, we don't outspeed Charizard. I'm going to get rid of all this. We speed tie with it, and I don't want to risk a speed tie. So I just went with the 140, because in a positive nature, we outspeed. I dumped 252 EVs into special attack. We don't need it, necessarily. The point of just having max special attack is to maximize our damage output. Then, of course, I dumped the rest into defense. Defense was the important part here. Because Azelf is what I'm planning on leading off with. And as far as Pokemon that I see him leading off with would be Donphan and Seismitoad. Those are, or Aerodactyl, potentially. Those are the Pokemon on his team that get up Stealth Rocks. I believe Lucario might learn Stealth Rock, and I'm virtually certain Skuntank gets Toxic Spikes. But honestly, Donphan, Seismitoad are the big two that I see him running Stealth Rock on because they're bulky. So honestly, what I envision happening, he leads off with one of those two Pokemon. I lead off with my Green Lantern. If he leads off with Donphan, I go for Taunt, as he goes for Knockoff. We easily take the Knockoff, get up my Stealth Rock, get up my Energy Ball. Get out my Stealth Rock the following turn, go for Energy Ball to bring him down to his Sturdy, or to deal a lot of damage depending on his spread, and then come in and kill him with something else. Or taunt him again if I have to. I don't know. Knockoff really doesn't do that much damage with the Culver Berry, with this defensive investment. He can't hit me with Earthquake because we have Levitate. If he leads off with Seismitoad, Energy Ball, dead, goodbye. End of story. And then you're thinking, well, what does he bring in next? Well, realistically, he would want to bring in something that can kill us. So he would bring in a Ghost type, which he does not have, or a Dark type, which would be Skuntank or Malamar. Most likely Malamar, because Malamar can go for Superpower and start getting up boosts, and then we have a problem on our hands. Or you could bring in Skuntank and Pursuit Trap us. Either way. No matter what, we should be able to get up our Stealth Rocks pretty reliably. And if we can't, that's still fine. It's okay if we don't, because he's not, his team doesn't have crazy bulk. I just need something to break sashes. However, that's why we have Signal Beam. I see him bringing in Malamar more than Skuntank because Skuntank is much more utility based, whereas Malamar is it has some good bulk behind it. He can, he can tear through our team. Not with Choice Scarf Malamar, but like maybe with an Assault Vest Malamar, if he gets a couple boosts up with Superpower. But Signal Beam one-shots. Goodbye. So that's that. That's all there really is to that. I'm going to skip Klefki and Ruffles, and I'm going to go straight to Eaten Alive. Now, Eaten Alive has a very interesting spread here. We have Energy Ball, Leaf Blade, Sludge Bomb, and Hidden Power Ground. Energy Ball and Leaf Blade with the Meadow Plate. The reason we have both of those is because Leaf Blade is for Azumarill, Energy Ball is for Donphan. Energy Ball with 72 EVs in special attack brings Donphan down to sturdy. Leaf Blade with 244 EVs positive nature brings Azumarill down to death. It kills Azumarill. I'm doing that because I don't want to deal with Assault Vest Azumarill. It sponges way too many hits. 188 EVs in speed enables us to outspeed a max speed Jolly Azumarill. I want to make sure that we're faster than that. Granted, we will outspeed with a little bit less investment. We outspeed at 112. So I could have run this, and I think I actually may have. I don't entirely remember. Actually, no, I think what I did is I had 4 here and I had an extra 8 here to get us up to 130. I think I did that because I knew for a fact I did not need to outspeed anything else on his team. There's a speed jump between Azumarill at 50 and I don't even know what his next one is, but I think it's like... Honestly, I think it's Skuntank at like 73 or something like that, or Malamar at 73. It's one of those. But I knew that was all the speed investment we needed. I'm pretty sure I remember changing it when I was actually genning the Pokemon. But with this investment, we break Donphan, we break Azumarill. Sludge Bomb is to hit the Mega Charizard, because other than that, we can't touch it. And Hidden Power Ground is to hit the Skuntank, because other than Hidden Power Ground, we can't touch Skuntank, because it resists all of our other moves. So that is Eaten Alive. I run Chlorophyll. Gluttony's never going to get used. It's completely useless for me. But next up we have Locksmith, our Klefki. And look at this delicious spread. Look at it. We have 60 EVs in speed to make sure that we do outspeed an Adamant Azumarill. A lot of the time I was concerned with Jolly Azumarill, making sure that we outspeed that. However, with Klefki, I don't really care because Azumarill can't one-shot us and we have Prankster. So I'm not as worried about it. We also outspeed Adamant Donphan. But again, I'm not worried about it because we have Prankster. I'm really not worried about outspeeding stuff with Klefki. The reason I'm running that much is because if he brings Choice Banded Azumarill with Aqua Jet, he should be running an Adamant Nature. I want to make sure that I outspeed that. That's what I'm focused on. That's what's important. 252 EVs in defense. Like I said, most of his threats are physically defensive. I can't deal with Goodra, especially if he's Assault Vest. Running Play Rough doesn't make sense because of the fact that most of his team is physically defensive except for the Goodra. That's really the only specially defensive Pokemon on his team. So I dumped the rest into Spadef with a Spadef boosting nature, made sure that I have an odd amount of HP. It just so happens that they balance out to almost equal. Complete coincidence, not what I was going for. Spikes, Magnet Rise, Thunder Wave, and Dazzling Gleam. We beat Donphan 1v1. We beat it 1v1. We Magnet Rise, he can't Earthquake us. Knockoff does piss poor damage. Ice Shard does piss poor damage. Rapid Spin does piss poor damage. Stone Edge does piss poor damage. She can't hurt us. We resist every single one of its moves except for its stab move, but we can make ourselves immune to that with Magnet Rise. So we can spike stack against the Donphan, wear it down with Dazzling Gleam, which is like a 3 or a 4-8 KO depending on his spread, and he literally can't touch us. My goal is to Thunderwave everything on his team. Everything. Except for Donphan, Seismitoad, and Jolteon. Everything else on his team can be Thunderwave. And at +1, Ruffles one-shots almost everything on his team. At +1, Life Orb, Sheer Force, Hone Claws boosted. So the +1 is from Hone Claws. Life Orb, Dragon Claw, Life Orb, Sheer Force, Fire Punch, Life Orb, Sheer Force, Gunk Shot. Tears through pretty much everything. Dragon Claw one-shots Mega Charizard X. Fire Punch one-shots Lucario. Gunk Shot one-shots Azumarill. And Dragon Claw hits pretty much everything else. And basically kills it. It does so much damage. I wish so much that Drotagon had Dragon Rush. Because then, between Hone Claws and the Sheer Force boost, it would absolutely just demolish everything. That's one thing that we need for Sun and Moon. Give Drotagon Dragon Rush. But that's going to be it. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. It's very much greatly appreciated. But with that, I'm going to get about. Best of luck to you out there. I will see you all soon. Goodbye.